Yeah, and you
Go
have to
ahead.
keep feeding it protein, which is why I'm trying to find good sources of protein. Because this, I don't know, have you ever checked how much protein you're supposed to intake online?
A long time ago, I used to be very, very pixeled about it, but now I just kind of eat whatever I feel is healthy. But yeah, are you actually looking at the right amount that you're supposed to be taking every single day?
Yeah, I did some calculations with the online functions that there's a
Hmm.
bunch of them, but I'm supposed to be doing about 200 grams a day if I'm really trying to push building muscle, and I'm probably maybe getting half of that. So that's why I was really curious, like, well, what else could I be incorporating? Edamame is a good one because it tastes like a vegetable, and that's what really
Yeah,
kind of sparked the need to have more protein in my diet.
yeah, yeah.
So, what was your curious question from last week or for this week?
My curious question for this week is basically not so much about research, but it's just an idea that I've always thought about, and I just wanted to bring it up. And it's about disabilities and handicap and how we think about it in society. Because I remember during college, there was at least 2 months out of the year that I'll be on crutches. So I'll be using the crutches across campus, across the parking lot, and all that, and in class, and I always get glances. And even though I shouldn't care what other people think, I'm still conscious about what they're thinking about. Do they think are they wondering what happened to me, or are they thinking about that I'm less of a person, or that I can't achieve certain goals because I'm using crutches? I mean, it was just temporary too, but they don't know that. I could be using it for the rest of my life, right? Then, then if I felt that way just with crutches, I was wondering how other people feel if they're on wheelchair, or if you could physically tell that they don't have legs or arms, or a certain part of their body. So I was looking up online, and I came across a video by it's Nick Vujicic, but he's very, very popular, and a lot of his videos. If you want to look online, just type in "no arms, no legs." So basically, he was born without any arms or legs, and I'm not even talking about up to the elbow or up to the knee. This guy really it stops at the shoulder, and it stops a little bit after the hips. You know what I mean? So he was just talking about what he went through and everything like that. But then I think now he's about 30, mid 30s or something like that. But he's accomplished a lot. He's traveled to many countries. He's given a lot of speeches. I think he's helped open schools. He's an investor doing day trading and all that stuff, and he's just an inspiration to a lot of people, and I see him inspiring people at school, giving out speeches and all that. And he mentioned that there are a lot of time that kids would come up to him and say, if it weren't for you, I was going to suicide. I was going to kill myself because of the stress that they were going through, or their just their perspective that they had in life. But after seeing him and seeing the struggle that he went through and how he persevered and achieved so much in life, it gave people a different perspective. It certainly gave me a different perspective. So, and there was another person that I just recently watched on Hulu. It's his name is Kyle Menard, and basically his stops at the elbow. He was born with no arms and leg too, and his stops at the elbow and his stops at the knee. And I think the whole documentary about it was he actually played in one of the UFC game. So yeah, so he actually wrestles and do all that stuff. And so when I'm thinking about disability or handicap, I mean, what really is disability or handicap? Because when we look at someone who lost a foot or a leg because of the war, or birth defect or anything like that, and you compare it to these guys who's achieved so much, what really is disability, right? I mean, I think disability, the biggest disability, is in the mind, right? If you limit yourself, then that's your disability right there. So I guess it doesn't matter if you have no arms or no legs, as long as you know you have that drive, that passion, that goal that you have set in your mind, and you're willing to go for it. There's nothing that can stop you. You know,
Basically,
forget about the wheelchair.
Don't set excuses for yourself.
Yeah, exactly that. I think it's all in the mind. If you're really willing to get to your goal, if you're really driven, you know, forget it. If you tore a hamstring, dude, look at the guy. He went all the way to the finish line, and look at these guys without arms and legs, and look at all the stuff that they've accomplished. So hopefully that just gives, you know, you a different perspective. You know, it gave me a different perspective. Like, if I'm on crutches, if I'm injured, if I'm feeling down or tired for the day, it's like it's all in the head. Even on the treadmill, I was the other day I was running for 40 minutes, right, on the treadmill, and I was like, all right, this is good, because the last time I was running on it, it was only 30 minutes, so I got 10 minutes more. And then yesterday I was like, okay, I'm gonna run for 1 hour, and then around 30 minutes I wanted to give up. It was so tiring, because there's some days that you are full of energy, and then there's some days that you just feel like crap. But then I realized, hey, I'm not hurting. My leg's not hurting. Nothing's hurting. I can just keep going. I'm tired. My heart's beating really fast, and I'm sweating like crazy, and it's hot in here. But it's all in the head, and I'm constantly talking to myself the whole time. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's all in the head. If you tell yourself in your head that, hey, I'm only going to run 30 minutes, then you kind of stop right there. If you're only gonna run for 1 hour, then you stop right there.
Do you ever rate your workouts? I did it for a while, but I haven't done it in a while. Sorry, go ahead. Do you ever rate your workouts?
When you say rate my workout, do you mean writing down how many reps I did or sets I did or how far I ran?
No, like when you work out, there's like a 1 to 10 scale. And what I used to do is I would give myself a number. So if I went to the gym and I just killed it, I didn't let myself stop, and I just wrecked it up, I gave myself a 9. If I showed up and I was on the treadmill, but I kept on wanting to stop, and I was kind of sliding by, I give myself a 5 or a 6. I always give myself at least a 5 because I got to the gym. So you get to the gym, you give yourself a 5 because that's a pretty hard thing to do already. But once you're there, you really gotta take you gotta take the opportunity to do your best. And I know some days you have those days where you don't want to do it, and when you kind of know you're measuring it through a 1 to 10, you may actually push yourself just a little bit more, so you will give yourself a 6.
Yeah. Are you actually writing this down, or are you just saying it in your own head?
No, I wrote it down. I use Evernote, which is like a really cool note syncing application. I put everything in Evernote. I record all my gym stuff in Evernote, so I have it synced. I can go back. I can tell you what my numbers were. I kind of stopped doing it. I probably should start doing it again.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. And if you don't hit the gym, you get 0, right?
Yeah, you don't still get credit for that at all.
Do you subtract points?
No.
Like if you give up, you're like, all right, that's subtract 2 points.
Well, I guess mentally. So if like you show up and you're 10 minutes on a cardio machine and you just jam it, and then you're like, oh, I'm sick of this. You start slowing down. You start subtracting points. You start removing them.
Yeah. I've never done that before. I've never done that before. I've never even thought about doing that before. So, but I guess it might be beneficial because you're congratulating yourself. You're celebrating every single success. You're like, all right, I made it to the gym. That's 5 points right now. You know, let's gain another extra 1 point just for starting up the treadmill machine. You know, so it kind of pushes you to keep adding up the points. So, yeah, that's pretty good.
And if you can't, if you die at the gym, 10 points. Just kidding.
Yeah. So, Josh, do you have any questions right now? Because, Dano, I think we're pretty good right here, right?
Yeah, we're getting pretty close. I was going to add to the show that, you know, Andy and I are coming up with our curious questions. If you in the audience have any curious questions you'd like us to answer, feel free to email us.
Yeah.
Hey, Andy, tell what email address they use.
Okay, if you want to get in touch with us, if you want to send us what inspires you. If you want to send us your curious question or pictures of something that inspires you or whatever, go ahead and send it to andyvsdano@gmail.com. And if you want to contact us through Twitter, we each have our own Twitter. That's Andy_VS or at Dano_VS. And we also have a Andy versus Dano Twitter, which is just at Andy versus Dano. So you can reach us there.
Yeah, definitely hit us up on the Andy vs Dano at Twitter or at Andy versus Dano. I know we both have our separate ones, but we probably need to funnel down to one.
Yeah.
But if you just want to pick on me to Andy, DM him at his personal Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that about wraps it up, and I just want to say thank you. You know, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We have a new episode every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and don't forget to visit andyvsdano.com for more information. Until the next webcast, break habits, face fear, and grow. All right. Thanks.